And we believe in one another. A little bit of Oasis there for you, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I do hope you're doing well, mate. I really do hope that. It's a brand new day. Chelsea news is here. I didn't sleep well last night. Genuinely got like 90 minutes sleep throughout the whole night. This isn't about football. This is just about real life, this fleeting intro. But do you ever have it like when your body feels like hot, so you're not cooling down to a sleeping temperature? And I was just really irritated. Horrible. So anyway, welcome back to Chelsea News. Fortunately, it's a rainy day over here in the kingdom, so I can just cozy up, feel sorry for myself for my lack of sleep. But more importantly, I'm throwing the horns up there. More importantly, delivering you some scintillating Chelsea news, of which today we're going to mosey on down through some stories together. Sunderland taking Mark Hughes. Sunderland, by the way, doing bits. Maybe he can stay up. Levi Colwill chatting up Chelsea's chances. And here we go, Football Insider again. They've done it before. Chelsea could bankrupt Mudryk after suing him. Sensational headline here on Football Insider. I think, just trigger warning, it might be citing Stefan Borson. So yeah, but yeah, what is happening with Mudryk? Very interesting and compelling situation. Delicate, sensitive, of course, and we need to remember the young man himself here throughout all this stuff. But yeah, we're going to get into it. So strap yourselves in. Thank you for joining me as per usual. I'm delighted to have you here, friend. Everyone's welcome, so do like and do subscribe. All right, mate. Let's do it then. Yeah, so let's start off with this Sunderland story looking for a loan deal for Mark Hughes. First off the bat, I like it. I think we all like Mark Hughes. He's this kind of like throwback, rolling the dice striker that you throw on to cause chaos. Like, in the women's Euros, the Lionesses, when they're throwing on Ajimang at the end, it was, the teenage striker, a bit of a wild card. It was kind of giving me Mark Hughes vibes there. He's obviously deserves to have really decent minutes now. He was a great signing. We got him for 5 million from La Masia, of course, from Barcelona. He had scored on his debut for Barcelona, playing under Xavi. Really highly rated. They want to keep him. They wanted to keep him. We managed to get him. Chelsea don't want to sell him, and they think they might have something really great here. Either, like, I suppose, a redonkulous profit. Look at the market of strikers, man. Like, people are talking about 80 million for Jackson. We signed Hughes for 5 million. If, after a season or two, he's really good. And we sell him for even, like, 30 million. The profits are insane. Or he might just become really good. And I would love him to become really good and become a Chelsea striker. Because that would be funny, taking one of Barcelona's, beloved academy products and being like, ha! He's Chelsea now, and he's performing at a high level. Maybe. Sunderland are in talks to sign striker Mark Hughes on a season-long loan. They reported on the deal sheet on July 22nd that the striker had turned down offers from clubs, that Chelsea had turned down offers for the club looking to buy him because they only want to loan him. And they want to loan him to another English club. This is real belief in the young centre-forward. Because they they would have absolutely made immediate profit on him, of course. For 5 million, pounds they spent on him. So, he's a good striker. They'd probably 15, 20 million, even without him really playing for Chelsea. No deal has yet been agreed for the teenager, with talks ongoing. Championship side, of course, Ipswich Town were keen to sign Hughes on loan, as reported on July the 1st by The Athletic. Of course, Ipswich, good team, but they're a championship team. And I think we'd all love to see Mark Hughes play in the Prem. It's good when a Chelsea player goes on loan, maybe to the continent, but or to the Championship. You don't really see it much. But when you watch Premier League games all the time, him starting for Sunderland, they've made loads of signings. They've just signed Granit Xhaka, playing in front of Granit Xhaka, feeding the ball to Mark Hughes, scores the winner against, Manchester United. Great fun. That's what we want to see. The 19-year-old scored 6 goals for Chelsea, of which only 7 were starts. 6 goals in 7 starts is really good. Of course, he played a lot in the Conference League as well. He only played 41 minutes in the Club World Cup campaign, but it looks like he had a good time. Got a medal, hung out with the boys. Newly promoted Sunderland have signed 7 senior players this summer, including the likes of the aforementioned Granit Xhaka, Habib Diarra, alongside wingers. They got Simon Adingra, which is great, and some other man who I don't know. Chelsea have also once again been active in the transfer market. Yeah. We signed loads of players. Genuinely, I like it. I think... Stop. Genuinely, I like it. I think it's a great loan. We could see him in the Prem. The fact how they're throwing their weight around financially and in the transfer market, it bodes well. So let me know what you think with Mark Guter there. We're going to talk about Mykhailo Mudryk and the scenario with it, because it is fascinating with the finances, of course. You can't play football. He cost us a lot of money. He's on significant wages. What do we do next? But before, I do want to quickly go through this interview of Levi Cowwell on The Athletic with Simon Johnson, the Chelsea correspondent. Because Levi Cowwell, the stocks are up, man. He's got the streets. He's saying the right things. And I think he might have been saying the same things here. So he got back early from his holiday in Trinidad, so he could watch a friendly between Chelsea under-18s and Sunderland FC. He said, I had a manic journey to get here. I missed a connecting flight in Miami due to the airline. I had to find another plane to get me to Paris, then to get me to London. I was travelling for over 24 hours, but I wanted to get back for this. Those unaware of Cowell's affinity to Sunderland FC, who play in the Southern League of Premier Division South, which is the 7th tier football, may be wondering why the centre-half would be prepared to do such a thing. Cowell's summer break began less than 2 weeks earlier due to being part of the Chelsea side that won the Club World Cup. 3-0, of course, the final against PSG. But Cowell's desire is driven to help children. The Athletic was last at Sunderland FC in December when an open trial was held to find recruits for the new Levi Cowwell Academy. So he's got a nice connection there. A club record was in attendance, nearly 2,000 at halftime. A proud Cowell walked around the pitch with some of the youngsters who will make up the first class of the academy. Yeah, it's nice to see him involved. He looks like a giant around all the youngsters there. There he is. Lovely stuff. Good community work there. He said being there was a community for him. When I was young, walking around with the academy boys on the pitch at halftime, it felt so good. So nice, essentially. He talks about how he cut his holiday short. He's, doing this project. And then we're going to get onto some quotes about Chelsea, because that is what we're here for. One moment. Here we go. So he was asked about what it feels like to be a world champion. Of course, now he is a world champion for the next 4 years. He said, it doesn't feel real. It's not like I sit there and think, we won this and that. I realized that when you win things, life doesn't change. My goal is to win as many things as possible. Ding, ding, ding. So I'm not going to get hung up on this. I need to move on and plan for the next. See, this is what I've been saying. Winning is addictive. It becomes a habit. And not to always hate on Arsenal, though it is a recurring theme here. That team, that amazing Arsenal team, and it is amazing, they're not used to winning anything. They haven't lifted trophies together in the last 5 years that, the Arteta's put together. This brand new Maresca Chelsea team have listed 2 in his first season. And they're like, cool, let's get more. I'm hungry for it. We just slapped PSG in a final. It's a learnt habit. It's good to hear Levi Cowell say this. This is a feeling shared in the dressing room. We have an elite mindset. Willie Issa doing the hacker. That's my hacker. Elite mindset. That's what we want to hear. In our team, and this is what we need to do. The Premier League restarts in less than a month. Yikes. And we need to start preparing for that. Few gave Chelsea a chance of beating Champions League holders PSG in the final. In many ways, you could understand why the Ligue 1 side had just put 6 goals past Bayern Munich and Real Madrid in the previous 2 rounds without conceding a single goal. Of course, they slapped into 5-0 in the record-breaking Champions League final as well. Being written off proved great motivation. Chelsea swept PSG aside with a style of football that should ensure they will be taken a lot more seriously in the future. Finishing the season with 14 wins from 16 games also showed a sustained level of consistency for the first time in the Todd Boehly Clearlake Consortium era. It helps them secure a top 4 finish in the Premier League and win the Conference League trophy as well. Again, I'm I'm legally obliged to say, the 14 wins out of 16 games, there were 2 losses there, and they were the 2 games Nicholas Jackson was sent off. Could have been 16 wins out of 16, imagine that. Cowwell believes it is a good sign that a corner has been turned, but suggests a lack of credit from outside Stamford Bridge will also continue to drive the players as they try and compete for a first league title since 2017. Cowwell says this: we had ups, we had downs last season. We still stayed around the top 4 and we were never miles behind. With the fans, we really went all together and just pushed. When that happens, I feel something just lights up and you just win, win, win. And that's what we were doing in the Premier League, and then we won the Conference League, and then we headed to the Club World Cup with that mindset. But it felt like no one thought we had a chance, even in the final, and I thought that was very disrespectful. All the questions before the game was based on, you're not stopping PSG. I'm not complaining. It gave us that fire in the belly, and then we proved everyone wrong. Proper Chelsea. That does feel Chelsea, doesn't it? It does feel like there's not many people who respect us out there. It's time to bring that back. We have been using it and will continue to do so. It might change now that we are world champions. We don't know, but we're going to go into games feeling like we have a point to prove. It gives us the extra 1%, which can make a huge difference. Do I think teams will target a win over Chelsea even more so that they can say they've beaten the world champions? Question mark. Definitely. But that's not a bad thing. They will give us respect. But we have to always be on it. Our mindset has to be that we have to win every game. We feel like we can definitely compete for the Premier League. Wow, there's your headline. The players in our squad are among the best. We are really excited for the season to prove people wrong once again. The prospect of playing in the Champions League for the first time in his career, of course, yeah. He says this: when that anthem comes on, it's going to be a dream. I could get a bit emotional, to be honest. I went to watch many Champions League games at Stamford Bridge when I was younger. I've walked out with the flags waving against Barcelona. Many kids dream of playing in the Champions League, so it doesn't feel real that I'm about to. It's going to be amazing. I like Cowwell because he's saying, like, it's a dream. I can't believe it's amazing. But it ain't no thing. We're going to keep winning. So he's sort of respecting and living in the moment, but also maintaining that, but we absolutely deserve to be here and we're here to win. When you hear that song, it makes your hair stand up, yada, yada, yada. And yeah, there's a bit more in the article I'd urge you to seek out. I wanted to reference that because Cowwell has always spoken assertively. Like, he's always been like earmarked early doors as a Chelsea captain. He's always had that about him, but he had this sort of erratic elements of his game time. I don't think playing under Pochettino helped him much. He was being played as a left back, a centre back, and he never really got to settle. Throughout the last campaign under Maresca, he's become really good and put in some really gargantuan performances towards the end of the campaign, which is like married up with his confidence. And he's, how old is he? 22? Cowwell? Like, he's super young. Yeah, he's 22, bro. He didn't turn 23 till near the end of the next season, this upcoming season. So, yeah, I mean, what a player we have here. So let's talk about Mudryk now. Yeah, this is interesting. This is coming from Football Insider, like I said here. They forgot about Misha. Hey, what's going on with Misha? James Murray writes, Chelsea could look to sue Mykhailo Mudryk as their losses may exceed 50 million if he's found guilty of the doping offence. I mean, he has been found guilty, isn't he? It's just a CAS appeal, surely. First of all, before I read this article on Football Insider that has got, plenty of SEO presence in the headlines, I haven't just dug this out of nowhere. Chelsea's public stance has always been they're supporting Mudryk, not we're about to sue his ass, so let's be fair here. The 24-year-old has been unable to play for the Premier League side since the beginning of December following his suspension. Mudryk could be facing a lengthy ban if he fails to prove his innocence, despite insisting the adverse finding, and a test came as a complete shock to him. The FA charged the Ukraine international with violating the anti-doping rules last month, and he could face a 4-year ban. Originally, Paul Pogba, he had a 4-year ban. It was reduced to 18 months on appeal. And actually, I believe, you'll have to maybe fact check this because I just read it, but Mykhailo Mudryk has actually hired the same lawyers that Pogba had when he had the 4-year ban reduced to 18 months. So, former Manchester United. Also, when does the ban start? Does the ban start from the initial suspension. So like last December, the beginning of last December, because then really like all you have is just this season, and then you come back next season. Or is it no, starting again from now, in the words of Ali G? I don't know. Finance expert and colossal penis, Stefan Borson. Sorry, it's childish, but it's fun. It's fun to be childish. Exclusively told Football Insider, Chelsea previously sued, of course, Mutu, after he tested positive for a white powder, let's say, during his time at Stamford Bridge. Very different scenario in that sense, of course. The Blues sacked their former striker in 2004 after he received only a 7-month ban. Before later moving to recover the £15.8 million they paid to sign him from Parma in 2003. Mutu was ordered to pay Chelsea £14.7 million compensation in 2010 following a lengthy legal battle. Yikes. Meanwhile, the London Giants, hey, that's us. We signed Mudryk on an 8.5-year deal. Wow. From Shakhtar Donetsk, of course, in January 2023 in that insane transfer window. The deal worth an initial 62 million and potentially rising to 89 million on add-ons. Yeah, it's really worth, when everyone says, oh, they spent 90 million on Mudryk, we spent basically 60 million on Mudryk. And look, right now, those add-ons aren't looking very likely. Yeah, they aren't looking very likely. His numbers aren't terrible, actually. I mean, they're not as bad as I thought they would be, considering he's got 73 appearances and 21 goal involvements. That one, obviously, will be starts. He might have a goal involvement nearly every other game. I mean, it might, for a winger or a player that's played under everyone so far, and he's missed out on the chill time really under Maresca, or half of the season. So 62 million. Obviously, Shakhtar have got a horse in this race as well, because they want that freaking 27 million pounds. That's a lot of money to them, bro. 27 million pounds. They want those add-ons. They want them to be recognised. Maybe, I mean, I don't know, actually. Maybe there's some sort of stuff in the background that paused the payments, because obviously we wouldn't have paid 62 up front to Shakhtar. Maybe there's some stuff where payments have been paused to Shakhtar. Because I did know the CEO or the chief over at Shakhtar really wanted to get this sorted out. So they've obviously have the inclination to be like, can we sort this out, please? He's innocent, can we get this? Because it has financial ramifications for them as well. So Stefan Borson said Chelsea's losses will be absolutely enormous if Mudryk is handed a lengthy ban and found guilty. He told Football Insider it's slightly different to the Mutu case because of the chemical in question. From what we can gather, it's a performance enhancer, and if it's possible they could sue, but it's probably unlikely, but it's possible. Remember, there's a lot of money at stake here. If he is banned for most of his career, Chelsea's losses are absolutely enormous on the deal. Yeah, again, and this is if we're just absolutely straight obligated to pay. I wonder, and this is completely speculating here, when you have a big transfer and these contracts, these transfer contracts are written up and they've got sell-on clauses, add-ons and all kinds of technical stuff. If there's, if they go to jail and commit a crime, we have to stop payments. So I don't know if there's something like that. If there's any really radical scenario elements in the contract. I don't know. Maybe not. Because it just seems like such a lot of money not to have so many finer, detailed, broad clauses in. They'll probably end up losing his transfer fee, or this is all his transfer fee, but I guess the initial 62 million. But probably a certain amount of wages as well. So you're talking Chelsea's losses being over 50 million. Yeah, I can see that. There's a lot to go at, but Mudryk won't have the 50 million to pay them. Maybe he's worth 20 million. Are they going to bankrupt him? I don't know. Chelsea have done it before with Mutu, and they're one of the few clubs that actually sued a player for a significant amount of money. We got 17 million from memory. It's a long time ago, but they did win. Whether they ever recovered it, I don't know. I've never checked up. I mean, I don't know if they got that money from Mutu. But they might sue Mudryk. It's not impossible. I mean, the public stance has been, we're going to protect young, vulnerable Mudryk, from war-torn country who's we believe he didn't know he was taking it. Yeah, look, and it goes on to here, it talks about Chelsea also looking at attackers still, and, what's his name? Morgan Rogers, and we can still sell Nicholas Jackson, yada, 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 yada. Look, on Mudryk, it's really delicate. I do have a great deal of sympathy for him. He did get tested for it while on international duty. He said it happened unknowingly. I suppose it wasn't with his normal people. Some people have speculated is he's so desperate to get physically ahead. That was like him and his PT's obsession. He was very, very fast, Mudryk, at Shakhtar, and they had this insane target, and he's always in the gym, and they had this insane target to him to clock this certain speed. So a lot of people looked at that kind of behavior, and when that does go hand in hand with doing everything you can to get ahead and reach these peak physical performances. So, but just because he's behaving like that, it's unfair to be like, so he definitely took it knowingly. I don't think we'll ever know. And hopefully for him, regardless of whether he knew or not, he's found not guilty. He'll never do it again, and he can play football and not have his professional career ruined. It would be honestly, like, Borson here is going for the headlines. So we'll see what happens there, but it is fascinating and a unique case to see what happens. Because when Juve got Pogba back, it was like, was it on a free? Because they got him for like nothing originally. Man United spent like 100 million to get him back, and then he went again for basically nothing, didn't he? So I don't think Juve made a massive transfer loss. Again, forgive me if that's not entirely true, but that's what off the dome piece says. Yeah, we're gonna obviously follow it. We'll keep it locked to Football Therapy. I'll bring you all the stories, man. So thank you for liking and subscribing. Yeah, really, really grateful for your subscribership, your support. A little reminder as well that there's daily content over on the second channel that relates to non-Chelsea content, all football stuff. Football Yannick on YouTube. Go search, go subscribe. We're closing in on 20,000 subscribers, which I'm very happy with. Hope to see you back here soon. Peace.